Joshua Smith here, and welcome to the GSD Mode Podcast. Now get shit done and smash that subscribe button now. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode weekly podcast where every single week I interview top real estate professionals, top entrepreneurs, and strip top badasses. They're out there dominating their spaces. They're people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, for their families, as well as make a big impact on others. And today, you guys, we've got another rock star guest here on the podcast. So our guest today, you guys, in her first 2 months in the real estate industry as a real estate agent, put over 5 deals under contract. First year did over $7 million in production and continues just to crush it and kick ass in this industry. So today she goes deep in how she did it, how she's built her business through attracting business, not chasing business. So this is somebody that doesn't go out there and cold call and door knock. All of her business comes through attraction by creating extremely well done videos, YouTube marketing, social media marketing, and she breaks down how she did it, how she continues to do it, and gives us so many marketing tips on how to identify your ideal client, how to be true and authentic to yourself and create a business that you love that is, again, genuine to who you truly are at the core, and covers so much ground. So she is a real estate agent, team leader, house flipper, entrepreneur, coach, and more. So before we get into this podcast interview, just real quick, if you are a real estate agent, team leader, or brokerage owner, and you are looking to grow and scale your real estate business, and you're interested in being coached and mentored by me personally over the next 12 months of your career, and again, to help you just accelerate your growth, make sure to check out masterybootcamp.com. This is my personal coaching and mentorship program where you can learn more about it and see if it is a fit for you. Again, masterybootcamp.com. Also, if you are interested in the most effective and affordable website and CRM system in the entire industry, make sure to check out perfectstormnow.com. This is the system that I have, that I utilize, that my team continues to utilize to continue to be one of the top teams on the planet. So make sure to check out perfectstormnow.com. All right, guys, let's jump into this amazing podcast interview with Chauncey Pham. All right, Chauncey, welcome to the podcast. So stoked and honored to have you on here.
Hi, thanks so much.
Yeah, no, dude, this is going to be awesome, man. I've been checking out your content, checking out your videos, and you have such amazing energy and just a different style than we typically see in the real estate space. And just stoked to dive in and pick your brain and be able to learn from you. And before we get into all the amazing things that you're up to today, I'm always intrigued in our guest's journey that led them into real estate in the first place. Rewind the clocks. Like, how did this real estate journey begin in the first place?
So honestly, it began because I had a bunch of realtors that sucked. I'll be honest with you. I was very happy in my marketing world. So that's my background is hardcore one call close type sales. Then I transitioned into a marketing space, and I was an account executive for a marketing firm for about 6 years. But my husband and I inadvertently kind of became flippers, right? Like with our primary residence, we were buying homes, and then a year and a half later, for whatever reason, we pick up, we sell it, and move. And that happened 3 times in a row. And every single time I found myself kind of taking the transaction and carrying it to the closing table. And like my realtors, they just weren't assertive. They just weren't negotiating the way that I wanted. And it seemed like I understood the process a little bit more than they understood what their job was. And so my loan officer said, "Hey, Chauncey, I work with a lot of realtors, and I think you'd be really, really good." So ultimately, I got my license. It took me about a year and a half to even get through all the classes because I wasn't really focused on it. It was just going to be a side hustle thing, and decided to, just go for it. Got licensed and very quickly realized, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Yeah. What was the moment where you knew that this was going to be, instead of being a side hustle, was going to be a full-time career? Was there like an specific moment where you just had that light bulb moment?
It was. And I would say it was a couple of weeks into it. So I'd been watching a lot of videos. I'd been kind of conversing with a lot of my peers, and everyone was struggling. I very quickly, as soon as I got into the business, I think because I understood marketing at a very micro level because of my day job, I got in there, started marketing, and I got clients like that. So within my first 2 months, 3 months of being licensed, I'd closed 7 deals. And I did that very easily, like in my sleep. I was like, this is fun. I'm just like talking to people. So there was a moment where I'd gone to one of our local associations and had a meeting, and I was sitting at a table with a bunch of other agents that had been licensed for, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they were talking about their production. And they were like, yeah, I did 2 deals my first year, I did 3 deals my first year. And here I was sitting 2 months into the business. I had 5 deals under contract. And I was like, I've got something here, and this is very natural for me where people are struggling. So that was kind of my aha moment.
Yeah, no, I love that. So then walk us through what those first couple years look like. Because I mean, you had success right out of the gate. I know your second full year in the business, you did over 200,000 in commissions. And like, we know the stats, right? 90% of agents don't make it past 3 years and really struggle. And those first couple years are so important for laying that foundation.
Right.
How did you get that momentum and kind of walk us through what those first couple years look like?
So my first year, actually, I did 31 transactions, right at 7 million in production. I was at like more of a flat fee type brokerage. So I took most of that money home. But then my second year was a little bit different, because going into real estate, and once I realized that I was actually good at it, I looked at it differently than I think a lot of other agents look at it. A lot of agents look at it and they kind of, they get the fire in their belly about production. I got my fire in my belly about, and I got excited about all of the other avenues and channels that I could make money with real estate. And so I had made up in my mind that I didn't just want to be the business. I wanted to build a business, and I wanted to be able to make money without having to go out and hustle and constantly get clients. And so something pretty cool here in Texas is that you don't have to be a broker to own a brokerage. So my second year in the business, I actually opened my own boutique brokerage. And so that was kind of the route that I went. So my production dipped a little bit. My second year, I did about 6 million in production. But at that point, I had brought on a group of agents. And so then that kind of started my leadership journey, and understanding that not only was I good at the sales part of real estate, but like I was pretty good at leading and encouraging others and teaching them what they needed to do. So that was kind of my second year, was transitioning into that. And then my third year, I was really, really ingrained in that. And here I am now, I'm rolling right up on my fourth year in the business. And I'm managing about 86 agents right now in 17 different states.
Yeah, that's insane. That's so amazing. So walk us through, you talked about those 5 deals in your first couple months. And I know we know that you mentioned also that you had this really strong marketing background that it came into it. But can you walk us through it? I mean, most agents can't fathom doing that many transactions right out of the gate. I hear a lot of new agents that do a lot of business like months 6 through 12, but not in that, because it can take a lot of what we do. We don't see the fruits for 90 days, 3-4 months. And, how were you gaining clients? Was it stuff that you would learn from your marketing foundation, or kind of walk us through what you were doing to gain those?
So there were 2 things I think that definitely like played a part in that for me. When I first got into the business, I ended up stumbling upon, and I cannot even remember whose video it was, but he set my mindset where he was like, getting into real estate, a lot of people look at it as a job, but it's actually a business. And so it's definitely going to take a lot of investment into it, but the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And I took that to heart. And so when I started it, I leaned on myself, and I leaned on my branding and marketing myself. And I think that is something that was really, really big for me. So when I first started, I created my client avatar. And I know that's big right now, and that's like a catchphrase that people say, but legit, it works. Like, I got so super specific with who I wanted to work with, and I built this person out. And then I identified the 3 things that I felt were most important for those people, which is, what do they like, where do they go, and what problems do they have? So I marketed to those 3 things to my person. So I was heavy on social media. Every day I was posting, I was kind of talking to these people. I was being myself, because my avatar was someone that would like me, right? So it wasn't hard for me. I think a lot of agents get into the business, and it's so hard for them because they're trying to build a business around all of these like unnatural activities instead of building a business around who they already are. And so that definitely helped me, was to like market to that avatar, be myself. I can throw some hip hop music in the background of my marketing, and that's going to resonate with like my target market, right? And so those people just naturally started to come to me. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I was very, very creative with my lead generating. I never wanted to cold call and I never wanted to door knock. I thought that was just asinine. In 2016, which is when I got in the business, I was like, it's awesome. Like anything will work if you do it consistently. I get that. But I don't want to do that. It's not sustainable for me. I would hate myself if I had to make 300 calls a day and get told F you, 250 of those times and then happen to pull 1 or 2 deals out of that. Not my style. And so I got very, very creative with what I was doing and ended up getting a lot of other people kind of working for me in my business. So I did a lot of collaborations. I did a lot of events. And I brought a lot of value to other small businesses so that they would refer me out. So I think that those two things, just kind of the creative marketing and knowing who I was marketing to by building out that avatar was kind of what attributed to me just right off the bat getting deals.
What would you say is the most important thing when it comes to identifying your ideal client? Because a lot of, I'll speak to even new agents. They're like, oh, I want to get into the luxury market, and I get it because price points are high and so forth, right? But maybe that isn't who they connect with at the deepest level, right? So what would you say are the biggest key things with all your marketing expertise? Because obviously you've been a marketing expert for a long time. I mean, what are some of the biggest mistakes and also like biggest, most important things that you think it comes to when it comes to identifying that ideal client?
I think understanding the difference between reality and what you want is a big thing, right? Like I understand that for business for me to be sustainable, it has to be something that I enjoy. Like it has to be. And the only way I can enjoy something is to be me. And I know that me being who I am isn't necessarily going to attract a luxury client, right? Like it sounds good to go and get $5 million sales. Like I don't necessarily vibe with those people and I'm cool with that. So I think, I don't think that a lot of people are honest with themselves. And I don't think that they consider sustainability in their business. And for me, work-life balance and like being who I am and not losing who I was in my business was the most important thing. So I think when determining who you want to market to, you just got to be honest with yourself. Like for me, I literally wrote down and thought, who do I want to work with as a friend? Like I want to work with people that I vibe with, that I can chill with, that if they want to go in and see a house on a Sunday afternoon, like they're totally cool with me showing up with my baseball cap on backwards and some Chucks, right? Like they're okay with me wearing Vans and a t-shirt that's got something inappropriate written on it. That's just my tribe. That's who I like. So I built my business around that instead of, man, it'd be really nice to get those commissions on a luxury property. Like, yeah, it would be nice. But I'm probably not going to vibe as well with those people with my backwards hat on and my Vans. So in building out who my target market was, I considered who I was. And I don't think that a lot of people do that. They kind of build their business around what they think other people want instead of what they want. And I think that is the trick to it and to sustainability kind of moving forward.
Yeah. So then from there, one thing that you said was, we're finding out what these people are into and so forth. I mean, was this just from doing that and getting clear on who you are and knowing, or was there more due diligence that you had to do in finding out what these people's fears were, what they enjoy doing? And
no, it was pretty simple. Like I didn't do any crazy research or anything. I literally sat down and said, if I have to do business with the same person 50 times in a year, exactly who are they? And I mean like exactly, right? And it doesn't mean if people don't fit in this bubble, that I don't work with them. But exactly who are they that I want to like actively speak to? So I thought specific. Are they single? Is it a couple? What type of music do they listen to? How much money, do they possibly make? Like how well read are they? How do they like to communicate on the phone, via text, via email? Like I got very, very, very specific, and I was honest about like who I thought would be fun to work with, right? Somebody that's probably very similar to me. And that's kind of what my avatar was. I built someone out very similar to who I am. And in building that out, then that's who I attracted. Because if you go and you look at some of my videos, you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, what you'll notice is if you just listen in the background, you'll hear things like Easy E playing or Ice Cube playing, or I'll drop little sayings that may not resonate with everyone, but it resonates with my target market, and they're drawn to me, and I don't have to chase them because automatically they connect with me with my marketing. So I'm going to talk to them about the things that they're having trouble with, the things that they have problems with, and then I'm also going to incorporate the things that I know they like in the background and as undertones of that marketing, if that makes sense. And so it really is a mindset with marketing, but I would say, just to simplify it, like for me, and what made most sense for me was to build out a client very similar to me, or someone that I would want to be friends with. And then when you're attracting those people, it just makes the job a lot more fun.
Yeah, love it. So then, yeah, and I think that we would all love to build a business where we attract, not chase, right?
Correct.
And in the business world, amateurs chase, professionals attract. Like,
Correct.
you don't see Apple computers having call center teams, right?
Right.
So then when it comes to that, because also when you're attracting business, you can scale it at such a bigger rate.
Right.
What does that look like? How do you leverage, let's just say, social media, YouTube, the things that you've done such a good job at, to attracting those people? Because I mean, most real estate agents, they're just posting, just sold, just, whatever. What are some of the things that you've done really well that getting that message out there that is attracting people to you?
I'm entertaining. I understand something very, very fundamental about social media, about YouTube, that a lot of people miss the buck on. It is called social media, not selling media. So I am not constantly selling to my consumer in a way that's obvious and annoying to them. Nobody wants to hear the commercial that I'm a realtor, don't forget, I'm a realtor, don't forget, send me your referrals. Like, we get it. Like, no one has forgotten that you're a realtor, and they also haven't forgotten the other 50 realtors that they know. But what you can do to set yourself apart and keep yourself relevant is keep them entertained and use undertones of things that are just simply happening in your life, and throw in real estate in there. So for example, I can make a post about, me falling on the sidewalk, which is entertaining. I'm falling on the sidewalk, walking into a showing. The story is about me falling, but I'm at a showing, right? And I think that the agents instead make their stories and make their content just all business, and none of it is entertaining, and none of it is actually showing who they are, and they're not being social. You cannot make real connections with people if you're always trying to sell to them. And I think that's what I've done well, is I resonate well with my audience, and they just like me. When they call me, if a client calls me from finding me on social media, they say, "Oh my God, I feel like I already know you." I'm not selling them on who I am. They're already sold. They just are ready to rock and roll. And it's not because they think that I'm the most knowledgeable person in the room, or because I threw out a bunch of fun facts at them. It's because they get a feel for who I am.
Yeah. In one of your videos, and I love this quote, and I'm going to just say it and then ask you to elaborate on it. But you said the best marketing strategy ever is to simply care.
Right.
And I love that. But how do you, let's just say it's a stranger, right, that's starting to follow you on social media that you're connecting with. How do you show people that you care in that messaging?
Oh, that's a good one. You're coming with tough questions today. Again, because I'm marketing using those 3 pillars, which are, things that they like, places that they go, and the problems that they have. If I'm talking directly to their problems and I'm providing solutions for those problems, so again, a fundamental of sales, just uncovering what people's problems are and then providing a solution for it, then they feel like you care. Instead of constantly trying to sell myself to them, I'm giving them value about issues that they have. I'm giving them value on things that they may enjoy and things that they like. And so really coming at it from a perspective of contribution instead of from a perspective of trying to take. And I mean, I know it's so cliche, like we hear it all the time, like just, offer to help them, come at them with value, which the value buzzword right now drives me insane, but it's honestly, it's true, right? Like no one wants to do business with you if they feel like you only want to do business with them to make money. But if you're offering them little nuggets all the time, and things that can make their lives easier, things that can solve their problems, then I mean, it comes off as caring, because you do. That's why you're providing the information.
Yeah, love that. So then when it comes to, because another thing that you've done a really good job with, and I know YouTube, gets classified under the social media category, but it's a totally different beast
It
than
is.
Facebook and Instagram. And you've done such a great job with your YouTube channel. And, this is something that a lot of agents aren't taking advantage of. And we all need to be. I mean, we know the stats. TV is declining 7% year over year. YouTube's gaining like 76% year over year. It's not
Correct.
going away. We need to have a presence on there. What are some of the key things to having success as a real estate agent with YouTube?
So Josh, I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on this one. And I'm gonna say I don't think everyone belongs on YouTube. I think that because we are drilling that into people's minds, that now we have a bunch of people on YouTube that have no place there, because they're not comfortable. They're not comfortable and they're not entertaining and they're doing it as a chore. It's cringy to watch and it is not of benefit to anyone. I'm going to say that if you actually want to move into the YouTube space and be effective, that you've got to be able to captivate people. I mean, YouTube, like you said, television is going down and YouTube is going up. It's going up because it's replacing the entertainment that they're getting off of TV. And if you don't know how to deliver a value or a message of value in an entertaining way, I don't think that it translates well. And I that again goes back to boiling down to understanding and being honest with who you are, what your strengths are, and building your business around that instead of what everyone else is telling you that you need to do. If you suck in front of camera, great, that's fine. You don't have to get in front of the camera, but you need to come up with some other pillars that you can build your business on that's going to expose you to the masses. It doesn't have to be YouTube and it doesn't have to be video. It doesn't have to be social media. I think those are great tools, but some people just aren't good at it. Totally fine, but they need to really dial in on their strengths. So I would say though, if you are wanting to kind of move into the YouTube space, something that I've noticed, and I check analytics all the time on channels, I only have 39 videos up on my YouTube channel. But when I check my watch time and my views against others that have twice the amount of subscribers that I have, I legitimately have twice the amount of watch time and views of some people that have twice the amount of subscribers that I have. And so I think understanding that delivering your message and delivering it well is very, very important to captivate the audience, because again, you are starting to replace television. And if you are just stuck every single time and you're talking like a robot and you're just reading off of a teleprompter, like it just doesn't resonate well. And I don't think that it's effective. So I would say like YouTube's a great tool, but I don't think it's for everyone. I don't.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. I know I said everybody should be on there, but I agree with that. Everything works, nothing doesn't, right? I mean,
Right.
I've met so many top producers and have so many top producing friends from all over the planet that all do different things, right?
Right.
But the key is that they're consistent. They put the energy in to really master it, and anything, go out there and work if you're committed to it.
Right.
But if somebody is committed to it, are there specifics that you have found? Because I agree with you. I mean, with the amount of content that you put out, I mean, I've seen some of your videos with 20,000 plus views and, so forth. And, I have 25,000 subscribers and some of my videos only have 300 views,
Right.
right? And I mean, your view count is very, very high and you're obviously doing some things right there. Are there specifics that you have found that really make a difference, like framework for how you structure the video, or maybe the tagging, titling, other things like that?
Yes. So I do always try to come from a perspective of, again, solving a problem. So I never name my videos just like a boring name. My videos are always figuring out a roadblock that someone has and then making my video the solution to that roadblock. And I think when we market that way and we come at all things from that aspect, then we'll constantly get traffic on YouTube. So I definitely spend a decent amount of time like coming up with the title, because I want it to be something that people are actually like typing in, searching for, and it is a solution for them. I would also say that yes, tags are important. I've gotten a lot of business from people that just went to YouTube and were just tagging like Dallas-Fort Worth Realtor, Dallas Realtor, and I'm ranking with those searches now. So tagging and understanding the back end analytics of it. And everything that I do, I tend to study it before I get into it. So before I just like started my channel, I didn't just say, okay, I just want to start a YouTube channel. I actually like studied kind of the analytics. What does the algorithm like? How does it find you? You know, how do people find you? How do you become a suggested video? And because I think I did put in that upfront time and effort, that helped me understand what YouTube likes. And so, you know, that helped as well. And then I think the most important thing, or the last thing here, is I'm very, very in tune with who my target audience is. And I am talking to them. I am directly talking to them in their language, and they come back and they bring their friends. And so all of my stuff is all organic, again, because I learned how to dial in and really talk to a specific, you know, type of agent and type of client.
When it comes to authenticity, you know, because I think sometimes we feel the pressure to, and I think a lot of us for our whole lives, we feel the pressure to be somebody else, you know, right? And not true ourselves. We try to be the person our parents want us to be the person our teachers, coaches, and, you know, now we step in this space, be the person maybe our clients want us to be. And, you know, you talked a lot about authenticity and being true to yourself. And, you know, you go to your website and it's like, you know, instead of search homes, it's, you know, find your crib, you know, right? Like, and I don't know if you struggle with this, but a lot of people have fear or self-doubt when it comes into stepping into their authenticity. Right. And I don't know if, again, that's something that you struggle with, or maybe if it isn't, what advice would you have for people that are maybe struggling with that?
I think that's, if they're struggling with that, then they're probably also struggling with their business. I found that the agents that do the best are comfortable in their own skin, and they are attracting their tribe. So, I mean, you have to be okay with having naysayers. I understand that everyone doesn't like my style. I understand that some people think that it's probably repulsive. That's on them. Like, there's probably a million other agents then in America that they can go and talk to. So you have to, number one, be okay with understanding that all business ain't your business. Okay. And then you have to be okay with being vulnerable and opening yourself up to criticism. And there's just no way around it. You know, something that my dad used to always say was like, they talk shit about Jesus, like they're going to talk shit about you. So it just is what it is. And like, I don't really have advice except for get over it. If you want to expose yourself to the masses and put yourself out there, and you want your people to be able to find you, then you have to be you, and you have to be unapologetic about it. And it's just something that so many people struggle with. And I mean, I struggled, you know, with the image part of it. I'm not a super thin girl, you know, and so being a woman comes this whole other level of pressure. But, you know, I was like, I'm cute. I got this face. I'm going to work with what I can work with, and I'm just going to roll with it. And, you know, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I love that. So then you talked earlier too about your energy, you know, and bringing the energy and having great energy. Is that just something that has always come natural to you, or is it a mindset thing, or is it something that you're intentional with?
No, it's just always been natural for me. And it's so hard for me to teach other people, because it's just who I am. I'm legit like this in person. I'm like this on video. I'm like this with my clients. You know, I talk like this to my clients, and they're okay with it, because I have purposely attracted the people that I know will be, you know, okay with it. And so no, with my energy, it's just always been like this. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do anything. I'm naturally this crazy. And it works well, and it translates. So no, I mean, energy for me has just kind of been natural, but I think finding yourself is a huge part of this. I think sometimes people get into real estate and they think that it's going to save them. Like, it's going to be the answer. When ultimately you got to come to the playing table and already be, you know, where you need to be and who you need to be.
Yeah, love that. So I was watching one of your videos, and again, you spoke about vulnerability, and if anybody watches that's listening to this goes and checks out your YouTube channel, which I highly recommend everybody do, we'll have a link that you can go check it out. You created a video about not just surviving, but thriving during this time that we're in, at least of the recording of coronavirus. And now we're seeing all these massive spikes in Texas and Arizona, both of our states. And, but you even talked about how you kind of started to shut down a little bit, and how you take on that maybe that negative energy of others at times.
Yes.
But obviously you're pushing through it, and you're but it's something that a lot of people are experiencing right now, because a lot of people, when you're doing your follow-up calls, whatever, you're talking to a lot of people that are going through a tough time, and it's hard not to let all that negativity get you down. What are things that you are personally doing to push through these times and to keep yourself, as you mentioned, not just surviving, but thriving during these times?
That's a good one. I would say that the biggest one is just, I'm very optimistic. So I'm always trying to find the silver lining in things, and then just kind of work off of that. And I know that sounds like kind of a generic answer, but like legit, that's it. That's the only thing that can keep you from drowning at this point. And so the great points, in terms of what's happening is it's allowed me to connect more with my family. It's allowed me to really connect more with my past clients and check in with them, call them, how are you doing? What's going on? How are you really doing? Do you need anything? And just even saying that kind of gave me goosebumps, because I literally have just been doing things that I never would have done before with my past clients, just reaching out, talking to them, and loving on people, man. I think this time has given me a chance to level up my business, but also at the same time, level up who I am as a person. And I think that is what's carrying me. Is the fact that I know that there are a lot of people out there that need a little bit of help right now. They need a little bit of love right now. And I'm allowing that to carry me through my business, and it's actually boosting my business. So I would say kind of focus on the people right now. Don't focus on the money. Don't focus on the business. Focus on the people. Make sure everyone in your circle, in your sphere, your past clients is loved on a little bit, and it'll keep you going.
Yeah, I heard a recent stat that suicide hotlines are up 800%. And hospital check-ins due to suicide attempts and overdoses is up 20x or something. I could be skewing that last stat.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people hurting right now. And,
right.
What you said is so important. No, so I love that. Another thing that I heard you mention was a focus on sales skills. Sales skill set rather than real estate, and studying and implementing outside of the real estate industry.
Yes.
Can gain a lot of great insight from the real estate industry, but I've also found so much power when I attend outside events or learn from outside coaches and so forth. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, man. That is so big. So not only did I have the marketing background, but before I was in marketing, I was in boiler room type sales. The only girl in a room with 50 guys, they're cussing, they're under the desk, we're closing deals. And I was one of the top salespeople there. So I attribute a lot of my sales skills and my communication skills to kind of what I learned in that role. And so then that translated very well into real estate. And I think a lot of agents are lacking just sales fundamentals in general. But more importantly, I'm a rebel, man. I always look at what everybody else is doing, and I do the opposite. So when I got into real estate, I was like, if there are this many realtors in Dallas, Fort Worth, why in the hell would I do what all of these other people are telling me to do that they're already doing to get attention? So then I started looking outside of our industry to implement strategies. That's why I even started a YouTube channel. I legitimately started a YouTube channel because I was sitting at home one night, and a lot of women find themselves doing this. Your wife may do it, and it probably drives you insane, but I was watching makeup tutorials. I will literally sit for hours and watch chicks that are 18 years old putting on makeup. And I was sitting and I thought, if these girls have millions of subscribers and they have all of these, sponsored videos, they're monetized, and they're putting on eyeshadow, right? Surely I can bring a message to an audience similar to this style and captivate people, but bring them something of value that can actually help their lives, right? And so even the way that I apply my YouTube content and the way that my channel is set up and the way that I talk on it, all came from a totally different industry. It wasn't from anyone that I saw in real estate, because most of the real estate videos that I saw were boring as hell. They were, just people talking directly at you. They, didn't have any fun, colorful language, because, that's my favorite thing. And so even my YouTube channel came from outside industry. So I think that that's very, very important, and something that we don't tap into enough as agents is people outside of the industry, and implement some of those strategies to bring us clients.
So, when a lot of real estate agents hear practicing sales skill sets, a lot of their minds might immediately go to, oh, I've got to start studying scripts. And I know that you're not a fan of scripts. and I watched that video right before we jumped on. And I'm in full agreement, right? I'm a fan of frameworks, not scripts, right?
Right.
But can you elaborate on what you mean by that sales skill set, and maybe also follow up with why you're not a fan of scripts themselves?
And so it's two-ply on the sales thing. It's a mindset and it's a skill set. I think a lot of people get into real estate not realizing you are a salesperson. First and foremost, you are a salesperson. That is every single thing that you need to do. Your job, your objective is to help buyers and sellers get in and out of houses and get to the closing table. Like, every conversation that you have with them, everything needs to be inching you toward that goal. But for whatever reason, agents get into the business and they think they're supposed to be a walking pamphlet. I had a sales manager back in the day, and he used to say, if what you can tell me I can put on a pamphlet, I don't need you. Like, I don't need to pay you. And so many agents want to learn all of this information and then just regurgitate it all over people instead of understanding the fundamentals of sales. So that's the mindset part, right? Is you've got to be programmed to be a salesperson, which a salesperson's mindset is problem solving. There is no hurdle I can't get over. I just got to figure out what the next hurdle is and then figure out how to get over it until I get to my ultimate goal, right? So that's the first thing they've got to learn to tackle. But more importantly, the skill set is communication. I talk to, I don't know, at this point, probably 30 agents a week that are, coming in, joining my team, things like that, or just need like some guidance and training. And a question that I get that people don't even know how to do is start a conversation. They don't know how to connect with other humans. They don't know how to overcome objections. They're afraid of objections. They're afraid of challenging people. They're afraid of confrontation. And there is a certain skill set that comes with that. I mean, I have flat out told agents, like, I think you should probably like go and get a job in the mall at one of those carts where you like chase people down and they offer to flat iron your hair in the middle of the mall. Like, go and do that for a month to just get you comfortable with talking to people and overcoming objections, because there is a skill set that is so difficult to teach that has nothing to do with scripts, because it's uncovering people's problems, uncovering what they want, and then turning around and selling it back to them as a solution. But these agents, they're just scared to even uncover the problems. So I'm so against scripts because, like what I said in my video was, so many new agents get in the business and they think scripts are gonna, help them. It's what's gonna save them. But if you're in a play or you're in a movie or you're trying out for a commercial, everyone has the same script. Like, literally all 50 people trying out for the role has the same script, but only one person gets the role. And it had nothing to do with the script. It had everything to do with the person and their execution. And I don't think that we're putting enough emphasis on ourselves and our expression and our communication skills. And so that's definitely something that, like, I really wish that in real estate school that they put a lot more focus on, because these folks come out knowing stuff about meets and bounds, but they don't even know how to start a conversation. Like, nobody cares about meets and bounds. You'll never get there. You'll never understand how to fill out a conversation because you're never going to get a client. So I'm very passionate about that. That is probably the one thing that I could talk about for hours.
Yeah. So then, I mean, are there outside of, getting the part-time job at the mall, right? I mean, are there books or things that you've read to maybe help somebody that's listening that is struggling with that, starting a conversation, and so forth? I mean, are there other things that you've taken that or any other tips that can, I guess, help them get that right mindset?
I definitely think that sales is an actionable skill. I don't think you can learn how to sell by reading. I don't think that you can learn how to sell by simply researching. I really honestly think that it's something you just have to do. So no, I actually don't recommend any books. I don't recommend any of that. I recommend throwing yourself in uncomfortable situations, no matter what they are, because even if you're, a mom and you throw yourself into a mom group, you've got to sell yourself on getting those other moms to like you a little bit, and that may be uncomfortable. So there are tons of situations that we can put ourselves in every day that we typically wouldn't. And that's what I tell people to do. Anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that you don't want to do, and never in a million years would you do it in terms of putting yourselves in crowds of people and communicating with those people. That's what I want you to do. And I want you to do it every single day until it doesn't bother you anymore. And then I want you to find the next thing that makes you uncomfortable and then go do that. And then having a conversation with someone and them saying no isn't that big of a deal, right? So for me, I don't. I wish I was more well-read on sales, but I learned sales in the school of hard knocks, man. I got thrown into a room with a bunch of crazy guys and they were just like, close.
Yeah, no, I love that. So kind of changing gears, you've been able to build this very successful team, and you're also developed this skill set or so forth of being able to recruit agents at a high level as well. And we have a lot of team leaders that listen to this and brokerage owners as well. What are some of the things that you're doing right now? Because what would you mention? You have about 80 agents?
86 right now.
Yeah. So what are some of the things? I mean, is it the same as recruiting buyers and sellers, the same really strategy as recruiting agents? It's just,
Same exact strategy. I do not cold call for agents. I do not cold email agents. I make content and put it out there that's going to resonate with certain agents. So I built out my perfect agent avatar. Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to attract? And that's who I talk to, on my YouTube videos and all of that. And then I make myself accessible, something that I've noticed that a lot of, YouTubers don't do it. And I don't know how long it'll be sustainable, because I may end up getting, getting people reaching out too much. But I make myself accessible. My Calendly link is under all of my videos. People can easily just book a call with me. They're going to get me, right? And so understanding even just the first step of having access to you, and they don't have to go to your website and then send, an email to this random email address and hope that someone responds back. Just the very first step of, I want to reach Chauncey and she actually responds and I talk to her on Thursday, gives them a sense that I'll be there for them as well. So I would definitely say accessibility, marketing, kind of to your people and exposing yourself to, and then they come to you. I don't have to sell anyone on working with me. They're already sold on working with me when they reach out to me, just like my clients are. So I apply the exact same principles to recruiting agents that I would do to clients. So I identify, like, where are these agents? What do they like? What problems do they have? And then I provide value and solve those problems, and then they end up just coming.
So when they're reaching out, is this a thing of, hey, if you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to support you in your real estate business, reach out, happy to help in any way? Or is this a specific, if you're interested about learning more about joining our team, right? Like when they're calling you, is it just that value of almost like a free coaching call?
Almost, yeah, pretty much. And then it always, because I'll always end up giving them free value and little nuggets, then the conversation always morphs into, well, how can I work with you? Because like I've talked to you for 15 minutes and I've learned more in these 15 minutes than I have from my past team or my past brokerage or wherever they are. And then they come. So yeah, the calls that I have, I call it a pick Chauncey's brain. And that's legit what it is. I'm not pressuring you to work with me. I start the conversation by just asking, where you are in your real estate journey. And then ultimately, what do you want to get out of this call? And I let them tell me what they want instead of me trying to sell them on.
Yeah. It goes back to your quote of the best marketing strategy ever is to simply care. And it's showing them that you care.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Love that. So then do you still have, because I know your second year started the boutique brokerage, but then I also saw somewhere that you were with EXP. Are you with EXP now, or are you on the brokerage side?
No, so I am with EXP. So I took my brokerage over to EXP. The brokerage is still alive, but only because I also flip homes with my husband. And so he runs the brokerage, and it's just him under it. But that's where all of our flips and things like that are typically listed from. But I work on the retail side under EXP, and then that's where I have the 86 agents under my umbrella.
Yeah, love that. So I get blown up about 10 times a day from real estate agents asking about my opinion of EXP and so forth. And it's very difficult because I'm not there. But I would like to, because it is, you can't go anywhere. I mean, EXP is just exploding. So I think there's a lot of curiosity from a lot of agents and so forth. And so what were some of the things that really attracted you to EXP? And now that you're there and have been there, what are some of the biggest benefits? So somebody's listening to this that is just wondering of what the benefits would be at EXP. What are some of those things that you really love?
I would say that EXP's unique value proposition is the fact that the model encourages, not just encourages, but the entire environment is an environment of collaboration. I think that a lot of agents get into the business and they have a certain expectation of their brokerage, right? And then they very quickly realize that the brokerage isn't there to help you build your business. The brokerage is there to ensure that the consumer can conduct real estate transactions in a safe environment. So they're going to teach you compliance stuff. They're going to teach you contracts. They're going to have lots of training, but ultimately it's not typically the nuts and bolts of building out systems that you need to creating a business, right? So the only other people that can really teach you that are going to be your peers. And unfortunately, in most brokerage situations, your peers aren't going to give you their entire system and resource because you're their competition. So EXP's unique value proposition is because they have the revenue share, and you can choose to join under any agent in any state, in any city that you feel like would bring value to your business. And they are financially incentivized to actually help you and help you at a micro level, not just like, hey, Chauncey, how are you doing your social media? It's, hey, Chauncey, how are you doing your social media? Can you help me implement it? And I have a financial incentive to help them implement it because when they make money, I make money, right? And so the whole model, I think, is just brilliant because of peer support and collaboration, which is not something that you can typically get in other places. And so access. I have access to people that are selling, run teams that are doing $400, $500 million a year. I can literally pick up the phone and call them, and they tell me every single thing that they're doing, and they don't hold back. And so that, I think, is the unique value proposition. And then for agents that are more entrepreneurial spirited, that are interested in, again, not just being the business, but building a business, EXP is a good spot for that because it gives you some other ways to bring in money without just having to sell.
Yep. No, I love that. So then I know that you also recently just created a training course for real estate agents. So talk to us about that. Like, what led to it, and then what's it all about?
Okay, so my course, or it will be a whole catalog of courses, and the name of the academy is called Real Estate Rebel, because I am a rebel. And this first little mini course is, and the name is pretty funny, and I'll explain it. It's called the Struggle Bus GPS. Okay, and I know when I say it, some people are like, "What the hell is that?" So I had an agent once, actually a few months before I started creating the course, and we were having a conversation, and I told her all of these things, and she said, "You know what, Chauncey? I love the training that you're giving me. And it would be great for me to implement all of this stuff. And these are great directions, but girl, I'm on a struggle bus. I don't even know where to start or where to go. These ideas sound great, but I need a foundation, right?" And so I started doing some research. The word struggle bus was always stuck in my head. And I realized that so many of these newer agents need direction. So that's where GPS came from, because GPS, of course, provides, positioning, navigation, and timing, which are the three most important components of setting up your business. And so that's what this course does. It is for agents that are either on the struggle bus or they're brand new getting into the business, and it creates a foundation that I don't think teams or brokerages or anything for that matter are really teaching agents, as far as, breaking it all the way down from, creating your DBA to registering and getting a domain and why you want to get your own domain and email address, to all of the different profiles that you need to have set up everywhere, to all of the different free lead sources that you can use, to basic sales training. So it's everything, and it helps set their expectations and foundation to understand that they're an actual business owner and not just like an employee for a brokerage, because that's, for whatever reason, what some people think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's, our industry is kind of funky where it's, a lot of the agents that need coaching can't afford the traditional coaches out there. And it's very difficult for those new agents to get that right information, and so forth. So love it. And it's extremely affordable. I was on your website. So what's, just in case, we'll have a link below, but just in case most of the people that listen to this or watch this or listen to this are listening on, as they're on the road on iTunes or whatever, what's the best place to go check out the program, and to go out there and snag it if somebody's interested?
MyRealestateRebel.com. So just go on the website. It'll tell you a little bit about it. We've got a video up there, working on throwing some testimonials up there, because I did have some people in a beta group that have now kind of gone through it. It's a quick little 2-hour mini course, but it really packs a lot of information, and you should have your whole foundation set. And so I've had some agents that went through the beta course and now they're up and going, and it's actually like made a really, really big difference in their business. So we'll have testimonials up there, but myrealestaterebel.com is where you can find it. And just for the folks on here, we've got a discount code of Rebel10, and they can get a $20 discount.
Awesome. Yeah. Cause it's normally like only like $200, right?
Right. So very affordable.
Yeah. I mean, you think of that, if that leads to getting you one deal, the ROI is like 100x, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, love it. So then, where is, Chauncey, where are the best places for people if they want to, and again, we'll have links below for all this as well to make it easy on everybody that's watching, but where are the best places if people want to continue following you, continue to learn more about you? Maybe they do want to get in touch with you and take advantage of, being able to chat with you. Maybe they're interested in joining your team and so forth, or they have a referral for your market. Like, what are the best places for people to follow you, to learn more about you, to get in touch with you?
Pretty much everywhere. But no, YouTube, if you go to YouTube, pull up my channel, just type in Chauncey Pham. Under the description of every single video, there's a link that you can get on my calendar, my email address, everything is there. So YouTube has it all kind of in one place. My Instagram handle is estate_chick_real. So you can check me out there. There's a link tree in my bio, and it takes you over to, my email address, my calendars, all of those things, as well as the course. And then Facebook, my handle on Facebook is Chauncey the Realtor. So feel free to look me up there, and I constantly, have stuff going up there too.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And again, everybody that's watching and listening, we'll make it super easy on you wherever you're at. If you just scroll below, we'll have all of those links. That way you can connect with Chauncey and make it super easy on you. So just one last question for you. Knowing everything that you know now today, if Chauncey today could go back and have a conversation with Chauncey in 2016 when you first started your real estate journey, and give yourself 2 pieces of advice that you feel would have really just fast forward your trajectory, the success journey that you're on, what would those 2 pieces of advice look like?
Ooh, good one. Get a CRM and use it. Doesn't matter which one. Even if it's a freaking accordion folder or sticky notes or something, but have a system to keep track of all of your leads. I've probably lost more business than I've ever gotten because, I just didn't follow up like I should have. So creating a system of follow-up in a CRM, and then keeping up with your past clients. I think, when I first got started, I was just interested in kind of gobbling up all the business. And I didn't really have a process in place for keeping up with that business, because that then turns into repeat business. Now I'm very good about it, but in the beginning I was not. I was a one-hitter quitter, man. It was a one-night stand. And so, now I definitely value that a lot more. And if I would have started that from the very beginning, there's no telling how much business I would not have lost. So I would say those 2 pieces are very, very key.
Yeah, powerful words of advice. And Chauncey, we truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here. This has been extremely informative and a ton of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, 100%. And those watching and listening, as always, we truly appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time. Peace. Hope you enjoyed this GSD Mode podcast episode. Now make sure you get shit done and smash that subscribe button now.